I copied a Rothko with paper scraps, and here's what happened. Rothko has been in the news a lot lately. This painting style has sold for over $85 million at auction. And today I'm copying it with paper scraps, but I'm not going to sell it and I'm not passing it off as my own. Is copying art one of the best ways to learn about how to make your own? As I work on these collages today, I'm recreating a few pieces inspired by Mark Rothko. And if you've ever stood in front of a Rothko painting and thought, wait, that's it? You're definitely not alone. Last month, one of the Rothko paintings sold at Sotheby's for over $85 million. As I'm putting together these pieces, I'm noticing things I've never noticed when I simply looked at a Rothko work. The proportions, the spacing, the relationship between one color or another, the amount of empty space, the way the composition feels balanced without feeling rigid. Even though I'm working with paper instead of paint, I'm starting to understand how many decisions underneath are hidden, but they seem simple. And honestly, that's making me appreciate the work even more. What's fascinating about Rothko is that he wasn't trying to paint rectangles, at least not in the way most people think. He was trying to recreate emotional experiences through color. Many people who see his work online are shocked when they encounter the real paintings. They are huge. They surround your field of vision. The surfaces are layered. The colors seem to glow. And I have experienced this personally myself at the London Tate Museum. It's a small room, and it's in a room that's smaller than the paintings were intended, but it's also very closeted and dark, but yet the paintings illuminate the area. People often describe the experience as completely different than seeing them on a photograph, and I 100% agree. And whether you love his work or not, that's a pretty remarkable goal for an artist, to be able to transcend somebody once they are standing in front of the actual artwork. I want to talk about some of the Rothko paintings that live at the Tate in London that I got a chance to see, because the story behind them is one of my favorite art history stories. These paintings were never supposed to be in a museum. They were originally commissioned for the Four Seasons Hotel and Restaurant in New York City, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city. The project became known as the Seagram murals. He spent months creating them. But then he visited the restaurant with his wife and something changed. According to many accounts, he became uncomfortable with the idea of his paintings functioning as a decoration for wealthy diners. He was an immigrant, and his father had raised him to buck the system. He didn't want them to simply blend in the background while people ate expensive meals and conducted business. So he actually gave back his commission money and he rescinded his offer. That was a bold move. Imagine spending months creating a body of work, then deciding you don't want it, and then you don't know what to do with it. You've given back the money, and now you have this art. Eventually, a group of those paintings made their way to the Tate London, and today they're displayed in what's known as the Rothko Room. If you get a chance to go, I 100% please go to the Tate Museum. It's free, and it's just an amazing experience. It's a quiet space, and it's quite dark. And when I went, I was actually all alone. So I just got a chance to sit and just kind of like contemplate. And it was a really overwhelming experience. The ironic part of this is that the day that they actually were sent and shipped and were delivered to the London Tate is also the same day that Rothko committed suicide. I'm going to also add a link to the 1974 Esquire article about what happened 4 years after he died, because it's pretty drama-filled. Talk about art heists, embezzlement, stealing from his heirs, and all of the issues and drama that had happened from the 4 years after he had passed from suicide. Just a trigger warning as well, the first paragraph goes into detail about how they found him and how he passed away. Another reason I wanted to make these collages is because I think copying teaches respect, not blind admiration. There have been plenty of artworks that I didn't understand until I tried to recreate them. And that makes me a better viewer of art for any artist. And almost every time I walk away realizing that there's more going on than I initially thought. The color relationships, the composition, the restraint, the confidence, the decision-making, all the invisible work becomes visible and makes me a better artist because I think about that now as well. I think social media sometimes works against us in this way. We see finished artwork without seeing the thousands of choices that went into making them. We see the outcome, not the process. And because we only see the result, it's easy to dismiss something as simple. Instead of asking, do I like this? You start asking, how does this work? And that's a much more interesting question. I also think this practice can be incredibly helpful for beginning artists, especially collage artists. Because collage has almost unlimited possibilities, unlimited images, unlimited materials, unlimited direction, and that freedom can actually be really overwhelming. Studying another artist gives you constraint. The constraints are often where your creativity begins. You're not trying to invent everything at once. You're training your eye, you're learning composition, you're understanding color, and more importantly, you're understanding what you like and what you don't like. You're practicing observation, and those skills transfer onto your own work later. For me, one of the biggest lessons from collage has been learning to let go of perfection. You can't really perfect collage. Edges aren't perfect, layers aren't perfect. Sometimes the pieces change direction halfway through. Sometimes your glue gets sticky and wrinkles your paper. Sometimes the mistakes become the most interesting parts. And I think that's why so many people find collage relaxing. It gives you permission to play. So is it ethical to copy artwork? My answer is yes. When the purpose is studying, learning, appreciation, and practice, yes. Artists have always learned this way. As I finish these collages, I don't necessarily think everyone needs to love Rothko. That's really not the point. The point is that trying to understand something often reveals more than judging it from a distance. One thing I love about copying artwork for study is that it replaces my judgment with curiosity. I no longer look at it as just rectangles with blurry paint. So I'm curious, have you ever tried recreating a famous artwork? Did it make you appreciate the original more or less? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like more collage videos, creative experiments, art history, and a gentle creative challenge, subscribe and join me, and I'll see you in the next one.